This is Culture Uncut. This is Culture Uncut. I am your host, Jason Spears, and Colt fans, we've got a lot to talk about. This is Culture Uncut. I'm your host, Jason Spears, and so I put out a tweet on X, and I asked you guys if you wanted me to do more videos or more, podcasts about, previewing our upcoming opponent and that kind of thing, and you guys seem to be open to that idea. I used to do this all the time on For the Culture, and I figured I could start doing it again just as kind of like a primer to these last 7 games or whatever, however long we play, hopefully till February, but I wasn't sure if anybody'd be into it, but I'm going to do them probably on Thursday. And the only problem with doing pregame or, I guess looking at games early, that early is you don't know the injury report. So like a lot of this, like going forward, will be hard to do because you can't predict who's going to play and who's not on Thursday. But this week, I think we have a pretty good idea. They opened the 21-day window on a couple of players. I do think that Mooney Ward will be back this week. Carlisle, I think, is probably going to be on the later side of 21 days, but it's good that they opened it because I think they could use that, use them in passing downs, and having that extra linebacker will help. So, and then also, I think Sampson was limited today. So you might see him, but again, I'm not positive about who's going to be out there, but I think we'll have most of our guys. And I looked at Kansas City, and I think they're going to have everybody outside of maybe one offensive lineman, a guard. So we're both teams are pretty healthy, and I'm really excited about this game because it's a really great test for our team. Just going over Kansas City's season, all their losses that they've had have been by 7 points or less. They've lost all of those games. And in the past, they've won them all. So it's very clear to me that they're still a very good team. They're just losing games this year that they usually win. I mean, in the past, they've always won close games, and this year, for whatever reason, they just haven't, and I don't want that to start this week against us, but we shall see. I'm interested to see how Lou deploys our corners and how he plays. I'm really excited about the game in general, but yeah. So going forward, I'm going to try to do these breakdowns on Thursday, put them out so you guys have something to listen to on Thursday or Friday. And if something changes, there's nothing I can do about it. At least you'll have something to listen to, even if it's not completely correct information. But I'll do the best I can. So let's get started, guys. It's been a while since I did this. If there's anything that you want me to do or have any critiques of, my previews, just put it in the comments, man. I'm egoless when it comes to this. I know that I'm not perfect, so if there's something you want me to add or if there's something more you want me to talk about after you listen to this, let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to try to incorporate that in. So, with that being said, Sunday is the day, 1 p.m. is the time. Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri is the place. The Indianapolis Colts, 8-2, travel to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 5-5. And open or are a 3.5-point favorite at home coming into this game. Offensively, they are led by Andy Reid and Matt Nagy. Andy Reid calls the plays. Overall, they're 9th in points per game. They're averaging 25. They have 6 total turnovers for the year, so they don't turn the ball over very much. They've been sacked 20 times. Mahomes has. So if you look at that across 10 games, it's like 2 a game. But obviously everything starts with Pat Mahomes. So far this year, 2,625 yards, 65% completion percentage, 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and like I said, he's been sacked 20 times. So He's having a solid year. I don't think it's an MVP year, like a lot of people, like would expect from him. I think he's human. He's not going to have, 40 touchdown, 10 interception years every year or whatever. So, but he's still as good as he's ever been. He's still the best quarterback, in the league, and he can make all the throws and has all kinds of guys around him to make that can make plays for him. He has an improved running game, a solid offensive line, very well coached. Both sides of the ball really well coached. Kansas City has some of the best coaches and one of the best coaching staffs. And I mean, you top to bottom, you look at special teams with Tobe and offense with Reed and Nagy, and then obviously Spags on defense is as good as it gets. So, they're really, really well coached offensively. They have a really solid running game between Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. Pacheco's been kind of stepping it up. But between them, they've got 164 carries for 682 yards and 7 touchdowns. So they like to throw off the run a little bit, I think. And then you look at the receivers, there's not really a standout one. I think Hollywood Brown probably has the best stats, but Hollywood Brown is a burner. Xavier Worthy's one of the fastest guys in the NFL. I liked him coming out of Texas. He hasn't really, blown up like I thought he would in that offense, but he's still, an elite speed guy. Rashee Rice is probably the best overall receiver that they have in terms of talent. And then Juju Smith-Schuster. Those are the 4 guys, and really, and then they incorporate their running backs into the pass game as well. But those 4 guys have 15 touchdowns. So 15 of his, I think 18 touchdowns have gone to those guys, maybe 14, I don't know. But then obviously the guy that you're going to have to stop is Kelsey. He's, doing what he does. He's got 50 receptions, 631 yards, and 4 touchdowns. I'd say he's having a little bit of a down year, but I think when your focus is, when, every coordinator's focus is you, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get the ball to that guy. So, looking at Kansas City, they need the receivers to do more to take some of this pressure off of Kelsey so he can have more space to operate. But he's still really good, makes plays for them, and their offense is really well coached and well rounded. They just haven't put it all together yet, and I hope it doesn't start this week because it's going to happen at some point. They're not going to be 5-5 and whatever, struggling for wins for very long. I just don't want their winning streak to start this week. So that's their offense. You guys know it begins and ends with Mahomes and Kelsey. You've got to be able to limit that connection, make somebody else beat you. And that's one thing I've always liked about Lou is whenever he plays, elite offenses or elite players, his number one goal is to take away their best player and make someone else beat them. So I'm sure he's going to have an interesting game plan, a way to take away Kelsey and make somebody else on that offense beat him. And if they can do it, so be it. But I'm really interested to see how he attacks this offense because of the elite corners that we have, and they haven't played together. So Kansas City has no idea what to expect. I'm not sure Lou knows what to expect from these guys. I mean, it's their first time together, and but I'm excited, man. I think it's going to be an interesting game, and I don't think Mahomes has played a pair of corners like this before, so it's going to be a fun game. So switching it over to their defense, which actually has been much better than their offense this year. They are ranked 4th overall. They allow 18 points per game. They have forced 9 turnovers, and they have 20 sacks. Obviously, everybody knows their defensive coordinator is Steve Spagnuolo. So when I looked at their defense, there is not a lot of big-name guys, but that's the way they play. They mix and match their personnel with this defensive coordinator well. So it's a lot of guys maybe you haven't heard of. I took down 2 players of note that we need to keep an eye on. because Braden has had some trouble with edge, and so George Karlaftis has 35 tackles, 5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, 17 QB hits. Obviously, he's a big part of what they do as far as pass rush. So that's somebody that we're going to have to make sure that we take care of. And then, obviously, inside, everybody knows Chris Jones, probably their best overall defensive player. 15 tackles, 3 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, and 10 QB hits. So those are their two guys with double-digit QB hits. Between them, 27. Between them, 8 sacks. So those guys are the guys that we really have to take care of on their D line. And just other players that are really good players that you need to kind of keep an eye on. Drew Tranquil, I think, linebacker out of Notre Dame's really good. Nick Bolton at linebacker is really good. Shamari Connor, DB, they move around. And Trent McDuffie at corner. They've just got a lot of really, really good football players that are well coached. And they all buy into this defense. And so offensively, the Colts are going to have to make sure they do a few things. One, they got to take care of the ball. Because they're going to aggressively attack our offensive line. There is no doubt in my mind Spag's game plan is going to be to attack us. Because if you look at the last 2 weeks, that's what's happened. And that's going to put pressure on our backs to pick up the blitzes. It's going to put pressure on our line and our quarterback to be aware, alert to where the blitzes are coming from, because he's a very, very crafty coordinator in terms of disguising blitzes, and so we are really going to have to be locked in on that and this week in practice and prepared, because they'll bring corners, they'll bring safeties, they'll bring linebackers, they'll zone, they'll drop, he'll do whatever. He's a really, really smart coordinator. It's going to be a chess match, really, and the biggest way for the Colts to fall apart in this game or fall behind is just not taking care of the ball, being careless with the ball. Them getting clean hits on DJ and him fumbling the ball, or pressure where he's throwing the ball, off time, off schedule, and he's, forcing it. Those are the things that they are absolutely going to try to do with their defense against our offense. They are going to be super aggressive and they are going to attack, because that is what's worked the last 2 weeks. I think we've given up 6 or 7 sacks in both games the last 2 weeks, and they were both due to blitzes. And in some of those cases, and I saw Shane mention this, it's simply Daniel not throwing the ball away and just going out of bounds and taking, and that count. Even if it's 1 yard, it counts as a sack. I would hope that he would throw those away. You're out of the pocket, so you might as well throw them away. We've lost yardage because he doesn't throw it away. Just throw it away. But we also have to be able to pick up blitzes. And while Jonathan's been great this year, his last game was probably his worst this year as far as blitz pickup. And he was in position to pick the blitzes up. He just did not make the blocks. This week, that's going to be imperative that he makes those blocks, because they're going to come from everywhere. And he's got to be able to make sure he gets those blocks taken care of, because if he doesn't, we're going to turn the ball over. Daniel has proven that he will turn the ball over when pressure is applied, and that's normal. Most quarterbacks do. He's a good player. We've got to keep him clean so he can do his thing. But that's my biggest concern in this game, because I have no doubt that Spags has looked at that tape and been like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to attack their offensive line. We're going to bring multiple guys, because the Colts just don't seem to know how to pick up blitzes, especially when it's more than one guy. It's a numbers game at that point. And so you have to read that and read hot, and our receivers have to be ready. Our running backs have to be ready. Everybody has to be alert to those reads and those hots whenever they're bringing multiple guys, because when you bring those extra 2 guys plus the 4 up front and you've only got 5 guys, somebody's coming free. And so there's nothing you can do about that, and you've got to be able to read that hot and get the ball out. And that'll back them off. If we burn them a couple times on the blitzes, I do think it'll back them off. But until you do that, they're going to keep bringing heat. And so I expect him to heat us up until we cool his ass off. And whether that's screenplays or quick throws or quick game or, you know, whatever. It just, they have to be able to get the heat off of Jones, because that's when he gets the most frazzled, and that's normal. I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying the heat that he's been under the last 2 weeks is too much. I do think he played much better in the Falcons game, but he still was sacked a lot and had a couple turnovers. So he can't do that this week. Obviously, you're playing a much better team, and you know, they're a different team at home. They're 4-1 at home. The only game that they've lost at Arrowhead was a 3-point loss to Philly, which had the controversial like tush push thing where Philly was offsides, they didn't call it or whatever. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. They're just so good at home. They're tough to beat there. You know, they play well there. They get calls that I'm just gonna say it. You know, we all know they get a lot of calls in that stadium. So it's going to be a really tough game to win because of that. They're just a better team at home. So the Colts have to be really locked in and ready to play. They can't make any boneheaded plays like they did in the Rams game. They can't turn the ball over 5 times like they did in the Steelers game. This is a game where you cannot fall behind this team. You don't want to be chasing Kansas City. Their defense is too good. It'll lead to turnovers. You want to play complementary football. So really, the record doesn't really tell you everything about this team. I know people are looking at the record and saying, oh, well, Kansas City's not a great team, or Kansas City's right for the picking or whatever. Every game they've lost has been close. They're not that far away from being what they have been for the last 6 years. I think after the Colts game, win or lose, they might win the rest of their games. So outside maybe one. So this is a good team, and we're going to have to play our best game to win this game. So, like I said, they're really good at home. They're very well coached. They don't beat themselves. They don't turn it over a lot. So the Colts are really just going to have to be prepared and be prepared for everything. On defense, I think we need to, I don't know. It's going to be a kind of a chess match there too, because you don't know if you want to blitz. It's probably going to be a little bit of everything. I think Lou's going to throw a little bit of everything at Mahomes. You don't want to kind of get in a pattern with him. You don't want him to kind of get comfortable with what you're doing. So kind of mixing up the blitzing and the dropping and, mixing up where you're coming from as far as the blitzes and the stunts and all that kind of stuff. I think it's just going to be key, because against quarterbacks as good as Mahomes, you have to mix it up. They've seen everything. So that's just what you have to try to do. So we shall see, guys. I have 5 keys to the game. I used to do like 3 on offense and 3 on defense. I'm just going to combine and just do 5. So my first key to the game is red zone for both offense and defense. When our offense gets in the red zone, we have to get touchdowns. Field goals are not going to beat this team. And when our defense is in the red zone against their offense, we need to force at least 1 field goal. Atlanta got in our red zone 3 times and got touchdowns every time. We have got to at least force 1 field goal. You can't give them 100% touchdown rate. So that's key number 1. Key number 2, obviously take care of the ball, and you do that by keeping Daniel Jones clean. I really think this game could turn on turnovers, and that's I'm slightly concerned because of the way the last 2 games have gone with the pressure and the turnovers. It's just not a recipe to win games against good teams. We managed to squeak out a win against Atlanta, who is clearly not a good team, and we did not beat what looks to be a solid Pittsburgh team, turning the ball over 5 times. We do that against Kansas City, we're getting blown out. So they have to take care of the ball and keep DJ clean so he can make his reads and get rid of the ball. So that leads to that's my second key. My third key is complementary football. That's all three phases. You know, can't miss extra points, can't miss kicks. You know, got to have good return game, got to cover well on special teams. Offensively, take care of the ball. Defensively, take the ball away. At minimum, come out of this game with an even turnover ratio. If we're minus anything in turnover ratio, we are going to have a very difficult time winning this. So complementary in a lot of ways, all three phases, but also within the offense. You know, let's not get too pass happy. Let's not get too run happy. Let's have it be down the middle. You know, you've got the best back in the game, and they're good against the run, but I like our offensive line and Jonathan Taylor against anybody. I think if you're patient with him, and it's been proven out, if you stay patient with him, regardless, you can have 8-man boxes, whatever. If you stay patient with him, he will break one. But you got to stay patient. You cannot get away from it and throw it 15 times in a row, because that's when they will absolutely attack us and blitz and blitz and blitz until we turn the ball over. So complementary football has multiple meanings here. I mean, within the football team, all three phases, and then within the offense, you know, play off of each other, the run and the pass. And I think that's the best path to victory in this game. Discipline on defense. You have got to be disciplined. This guy is going to test because he'll manipulate safeties and corners with his eyes. He'll make no-look passes. You have got to be disciplined. Be in your spots. Know where you're supposed to be and be there. When there's a play to be made, make it. Be on your fundamentals, keys, and techniques in this game, because this is the type of guy that you cannot take plays off. You cannot be out of position. He will make you pay. So, and then tackle well, obviously. This is a team that, you know, they'll take advantage of that. You've got to tackle well, wrap up, 11 hats to the ball. That's the way this thing works. I think that's the best way to play team defense, is just everybody run to the ball. So that's my fourth key to the game. Just be disciplined on defense in every way. With your eyes, with your keys, fundamentals, tackle well. Finally, when they do blitz, beat their blitz. Get them out of that. Because if they get any success blitzing him and we start turning the ball over, we're going to be in a whole heap of trouble in this game. And I just think if you prove that you can beat the blitz a couple of times, it'll back them off and make everything a lot easier, throwing the ball and running the ball. They're going to have a great game plan. They're going to come out. They're going to play well. We have to come out. We have to do the same things. And, we have to be aggressive too, because they're going to try to attack us. We need to attack them. This needs to be a war, because I promise you, Spags is going to try to attack our offense, and our offense needs to go into this game with an aggressive mentality that we will not be beaten. They are not going to run us out of our game. We're going to play our game. You're going to have to deal with us. And I want the Colts' attitude to be that way on defense too. The whole team needs to have an aggressive attitude, us against the world, going into that building. And just handle business. You're just as good, if not better than them. This year, it's a different year. Yes, we've beaten them in the regular season. I don't think Mahomes has ever beaten the Colts, but it's a different year. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past. This is the best Colts team I've seen probably since 2014, maybe even before that. So we have the team to go in there and win. Absolutely, we do. We have the coaches. We've got the players. So those are my 5 keys to the game. I'll probably pare it down to 3 next time. I think having 5 is a little much, but this is a huge game, and I think that all these things are going to matter. But at the end of the day, probably the most important things in every game are: do you turn the ball over? Do you force turnovers? Do you have a high third down percentage rate on offense? Do they have a low, or do they have a high or low percentage rate on third down on offense? Those are the things really that play into these games. And I'll be interested. It's going to be such a fun chess match between Shane and Spagnuolo and Andy Reid and Lou. I think it's going to be fun seeing Sauce and Mooney and Kenny out there. I like our matchups with their receivers. I will be interested to see how Lou attacks the Kelsey issue because we certainly cannot have any of our linebackers covering him. So it'll be interesting to see if he uses one of his corners to deal with him or a safety, how he does that. But that's going to be fun. It's just going to be a fun game. I want to win this game for a lot of reasons. Because if we don't win it, it's just going to be, everybody's going to be like, oh, the Colts aren't, they're not good or whatever. But for more than that, I want to win it because I feel like this is the year. This team is good enough to do it. This is the year to get this type of stuff done. And I think this team can go in there and win. So that's my preview of the Chiefs. Obviously, Mahomes and Kelsey are the big names on their offense, but they have a solid O-line. They're very well coached. And on defense, they got Chris Jones and Karlaftis. And again, a lot of guys maybe you haven't heard of, but they play so well together because they're so well coached by Spags. And, and they're a good special teams team. So it's two really good, well-coached teams playing against each other, a lot of talent on the field. And it's going to be a great game. It's weird to me that it's a 1 p.m. game because I feel like this should be a primetime game. But they thought that, and it's fair, people thought the Colts were going to suck this year, so this would be an easy win for Kansas City. Much to their dismay and our delight, they were absolutely wrong about the Colts. And so the 8-2 Colts are marching in the Arrowhead. So I'm going to give my prediction. You guys know how this goes because if you followed for the culture, I picked the Colts twice against Jacksonville in games where they were favored by like 15 points and they lost both times. So I swore I would never pick them again. So going in, you know that. The Chiefs are favored by 3.5. I think they win this one by... So here's what I think happens. I think that we turn the ball over, and that's the difference in the game. I think that's that, and so I think the Chiefs win. I don't know, 31-27, something like that, or I think it's going to be a close game. Right around the 3.5 point thing. I have it could be, they could lose by a field goal or they could lose by 4, whatever. I hope I'm wrong. Let me say that. I do think the Colts have a great chance to win this game, but if you're asking me to take off the Colt glasses and pick this game, I'm going to say based on the last 2 weeks, I just think we turn the ball over and, that's the difference in the game. So, again, I hope I'm wrong. I'm wrong a lot, and I love being wrong about the Colts, but that's the way I see it. What do you guys think? In the comments, I'm asking you to leave a lot of comments. I want you to tell me if there's anything you want me to cover in my next preview, and now I'm asking for predictions, but I would love to know what you think the score is going to be. Again, keep in mind, at Arrowhead, they're 4-1. Their only loss is to Philly by 3 points. I think that was a Sunday night game, and I think there was some controversy about a tush-push touchdown that happened at the end of that game. I don't know. But anyway, I like the Chiefs by 4 in this game, 31-27. What say you? What do you think the score will be? What do you think the difference in the game will be? So I will be back post-game to cover this game on Sunday, right after the game, probably have it out maybe at 5 or 6 on Sunday night, so you have something to listen to on Sunday and Monday. I'm going to start trying to do more shows and come up with more ideas for shows. I talked to Luke, and we just can't get our schedules together. He got a new radio gig that's in Ohio, so he's just starting that, and so he's been busy. We're still trying to get this together, but I'm not sure it's going to happen this week, but it will happen at some point. He's really pumped up about what the Colts are doing and excited by the season. He really wants to do something, but at the same time, he's got to get his sleep because he works every day and does. I think he does the drive time, or I don't know. I don't know what the saying is or whatever. But anyway, I'm babbling. So back to this game. It's a 1 p.m. game. I think Romo and Nance are doing it. Again, Kansas City's 5-5, Colts 8-2. 1 p.m. game, and yeah, man, I'm excited for it. It's going to be a chess match on both sides of the ball with these coordinators. They're all really good at what they do, and I'm really excited to see what happens. I hope the Colts can pull the upset because that would set us up for a nice stretch run. We have Houston coming to Indy next week, but we can't get ahead of ourselves. Let's get this one in Kansas City and then worry about that later. So with all that being said, thank you for listening. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the football, enjoy the game Sunday, and hopefully the Colts can get a win. This has been Culture Uncut with your host, Jason Spears. I will talk to you guys Sunday after the Colts-Chiefs game.